Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Waffle Drama 97. Thanks for the suggestion, Waffle Drama. You asked, why do words sound weird when you repeat them? If you've ever found yourself saying a normal word, like chair or apple, over and over, only to suddenly question whether it's even a real word, you're not alone. It's a weird brain trick almost everyone experiences at some point. Is your brain just tired, or is there something deeper at play? Today, we're diving into the strange science of repetition, right here on Explaining Everything. Okay, picture this. You're writing a message and you type the word really. Then you type it again and again. Really, 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 really. And somewhere around the 5th or 6th time, it turns into this weird sound soup. Like, really? Is this even English anymore? This is semantic satiation. It's when a word temporarily loses its meaning or starts to feel unfamiliar after being repeated too many times in a row. It's not just you. You didn't break the matrix. Your brain just hit the enough already button. So, here's what's happening under the hood. When you repeat a word, your brain's neurons fire repeatedly in response to the sound and meaning of that word. But neurons don't love doing the same thing forever. They're more like, been there, done that. So after a while, they get tired and start tuning it out. It's a process called neural fatigue, and it's kind of like your brain saying, okay, we get it. You like the word bucket. Moving on. The brain's job is to find meaning in the world, but it also hates wasting energy. So when it realizes it's just hearing the same exact stimulus with no new information, it stops processing the meaning and just hears the sound. That's when bucket becomes bucket, and suddenly it's nonsense. Think of it like this. Your brain is running its own version of a spam filter. It's constantly bombarded by input, sounds, sights, smells, the overwhelming existential weight of being alive. But it filters out the stuff it doesn't need to pay attention to right now. So when a word is repeated again and again with no added context or meaning, your brain's like, this is spam, and starts ignoring the meaning behind the word. That's when it starts sounding weird, because now you're hearing it like it's just raw sound, not a word with meaning. It's not even a flaw, really. It's efficient. You just happen to trigger it by saying banana 16 times in the mirror, like a lunatic. This is a normal cognitive process. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. In fact, it means your brain is working exactly as designed. That said, you might want to pace yourself before trying to say moist repeatedly in public. It's a temporary effect. After a few seconds or minutes, your brain resets and you can go back to loving or hating that word again like normal. There's something hilarious about how fast a perfectly normal word can break down into nonsense. Like milk, a word that means comfort, calcium, cereal joy. Repeat it 10 times, and suddenly it feels like you've just invented a new language. It's funny because it's familiar, and it's weird because it's disorienting. It's a tiny reminder that that language, this thing we depend on to make sense of the world, is basically a very fragile system of sounds we've all agreed to believe in, like money or horoscopes. This doesn't just happen with spoken words. It can also kick in when you read a word too many times, or even look at a simple image for too long. Ever stared at the word "the" for too long and thought, "This isn't right. There's no way this is how it's spelled"? Boom! Same thing. It's your brain doing a little reboot. You flooded it with repetition, and it decided to momentarily shut down the meaning department. It's more of a side effect than a feature, but some psychologists do use semantic satiation in studies to explore how we process meaning and language. It's kind of like poking the brain with a stick to see what happens. But for regular folks like us, it's just a funny quirk of being human. A reminder that even language can get wobbly when you overdo it. So, the next time you catch yourself repeating a word and it starts to sound fake, don't worry. You're not going crazy. You're just experiencing a very normal glitch in the brain's language processing system. Semantic satiation. The fancy name for the moment your brain decides that spoon is no longer a valid concept. If you've now lost meaning to every word of your vocabulary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, say "word" enough times, and it stops being a word. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.